So who's done a podcast before? Have you been on one, or you just wanted to be on one?
I've been on the radio. I don't think that counts.
You've been on the radio?
Just I've done like interviews and stuff. When I was military, I had to do some interviews, and then with my dad because of what he does.
Oh,
So.
We're definitely going to get into whatever that's about to be. I'm curious now. What about you? Anything like this before?
No, never.
No?
Never.
All right. A little nervous.
My armpits are sweating.
It's okay. It's warm in here too. Don't worry about it.
I'm so excited because I'm trying to pull him into everything that I can. So.
And I'm not the speaker that she is.
So is she more like the face of the company as you were like more of the in things of operating? Is that kind of like the back and forth?
So I hired her for marketing.
Right.
And that's what she's doing. She's doing a great job of marketing this company. And so I hire people that are better at things than me. So
yeah, you do. That's how you do business, man. You know, we've talked about a few I haven't even done the intro. Welcome back to another episode of Networking with Nick. We're going to get into it right now down here at the Colony in Wichita, Kansas. I am joined by two awesome people, and I am excited for this one. It's double trouble. We have with us Katie Boston, the operational manager, along with marketing for Heritage Roofing and Exteriors, and not only the owner, the man with the plan, the man who gets the work done, Kyle Fitz. How are you guys?
doing great.
Good.
Thank you guys for coming in. I'm leaving that first part in too, so don't worry about it. We're gonna get after it.
Okay.
So, it's a beautiful day. Spring has sprung. It's we got this amazing weather. What plans do we have?
Storm season.
Storm
We're preparing
season?
for storm season.
Interesting, yeah. That's true. A couple touchdown last night. When there?
I didn't hear anything last night.
No,
No.
I know that I got the Weather 12 app, like, oh, hey, severe weather potential and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Being from Seattle, okay, I'm a Seattle kid, born and raised. I moved here in 2011. I've never seen a tornado before.
No?
It was the most terrifying. So I actually didn't see one here in Kansas. I went down to Oklahoma for a while as a field safety rep, doing some stuff for some dirt work. They were putting in a new plant down south of Moore, Oklahoma. You guys know Moore.
Oh, yeah.
And I've learned that Moore, Oklahoma is a magnet. I got done with my shift one day, bad weather coming back to town, and I didn't want to stay in the apartments. I didn't know what to do, so I go to the gym where there's heavy things that can be thrown around all over the place. And I'm watching on the news. I'm just trying to stay calm. I've never seen a tornado in person ever. I watched this wall of water and gray just pass by, like 2 blocks away, 3 blocks away. You could damn near hit it with a football. And I just remember sitting there like, why would anyone ever live here? If this happens over and over again, why? It's like Florida, like all the hurricanes. Everyone gets mad that their stuff gets washed away. Get some stuff that floats and washed off and chain it down. It ain't going to go nowhere. So the tornadoes here, I would love to know, like, what do you guys see with the storm season when you guys are looking at roofs? What is it like? What's the big problems? Is it the tearaways? Is it like let go from the bottom of the roof?
No, it's hail damage to the shingle is what we're looking for.
That's what you're looking for. All right, going on that.
Or wind damage.
Right.
So they'll bruise the shingle. So where hail impacts the shingle, the granules will fall out of that area.
Oh.
Yep. Or embed themselves, and some will fall out themselves. So
it'll just keep beating the heck out of it.
It does.
All right, and then
the UV rays eventually deteriorate that shingle. So once a hail hit happens, it's compromised.
All right, so as soon as it hits, it's compromised. Mm-hmm. What got you into this? Because you've been doing this for 14 years just about. I feel like people don't wake up and be like, hey, I'm going to go get on roofs for the rest of my life. It's
I was prior military, and I had an accident happen. I did get a DUI, and so that got me into being a subcontractor. So I was working with one of my friends as a subcontractor, and we were chasing hail all over the state, and we were working for all these roofing companies. And so I saw the bigger picture. I was like, man, what are these guys doing? So we eventually went out on our own in 2011 and never looked back. But I knew I wanted a 10-year plan to get into roofing. So year 8 or 9, I got into roofing, went to work for one of my buddies that was trying to build a company, and learned the insurance side of things, learned the roofing side of things. And in 2018, I went out on my own as far as the roofing goes.
Okay.
And got my GC license in 2019.
Wow.
So
So you had a legitimate like 10-year plan in place.
I
Like,
did. Yep.
Can you break that down? Because I am a dog out here chasing cars.
No, I can't break it down. I'm one of these people that really have no fear. You know,
Right.
if I see something, I just go after it. So
Does that come from the military? Did that, or has that always been a part of
I've
who
had
you are?
I've always had a competitive spirit. So I think that's just me.
That's just you. It's just in there.
It's just in there.
What about you, Katie?
Well, I had a mutual friend between me and Kyle that introduced us, and Kyle had got to the point where his company, he wanted to grow it and wanted
Right.
to expand past the point of where he was. And I know the business side of things. I know operations and how all that works, and that's what my experience has always been. All the paperwork, policies, procedures, all that admin type stuff that nobody likes.
No.
I actually like that. So
I delegate that. You know.
I bet you do. I bet you do. I would be too.
well, it worked out so well because she introduced us, and kind of I knew where he wanted to go with everything with marketing. So my whole thought was, if I get my foot in the door with marketing,
Right.
I can help in so many other ways. So I just wanted to kind of get my foot in the door and help out. When I met Kyle and his wife Jess, they are awesome people.
Yeah.
And that's one of my things. Like, if I surround myself with awesome people, you know, like what can go wrong?
Yes.
So I just jumped right in and wanted to help them out, and now we're here.
I didn't know her skill set when I first hired her. You know?
Really?
No, I didn't know her skill set. So I'd give her a task to do something.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't just some normal task. It was something that I didn't want to do. And she'd have it by an hour or two later, and it's like this thick. And I'm like, what in the world is going on here? So then I'm like, okay. So I give her more things.
Right.
And I'm like, man, she's got a lot of potential here.
She's-
So
She's got some
Yeah.
skill. What else can she do?
that's right. So we're kind of exploring all those avenues right now.
Right on. So in the marketing world and the administration, where'd that come from? Do you have experience in that background? Is that just something that you naturally are gifted in?
Well, I think a lot of it just comes down to the attention to detail. I'm kind of a not OCD, but you know, I like all the details. So my military experience was operations.
Okay.
So that kind of played a part into everything, but I've always been really into the details.
Right.
So to be able to put all that together was just everything that we needed. So it worked out really well. But I do have a passion for it.
Okay, that's good. I mean, having a passion for it, being able to get it done. Like for me, I'm assuming for you too as well, Kyle. Like it's grindy work. It's that tedious. It's easier to pick up the phone and scroll sometimes, kind of work, you know. And it's just it is hard to do. I'm dyslexic, so if you give me a whole bunch of paperwork and stuff, it's going to be a problem. It's definitely a problem, and it's probably going to take a while to get done. So I mean, having people like you around is so crucial. It is so crucial to build that team. You know, like he was saying earlier, hiring the people who are better at the job than you are. That's exactly correct. Because your skill set, you don't need to be doing paperwork. You need to be out looking at roofs, giving estimates, meeting clients and customers, and figuring out how to problem solve on the job site and stuff like that. Like we ain't got time for that.
Right.
So yeah, absolutely. So what branch of the military?
I was Air Force.
Air Force. How long?
15 years.
15.
15 years, yeah.
Why didn't you go career?
So I retired early. So
So
it was
you are
kind of career.
retired?
Yeah, I'm retired. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. It went by really fast, but it doesn't feel like it when you're in it.
Yeah.
That was the longest 15 years. but when it's all said and done, like you look back and you're like, oh, that went by really, really fast.
Wow.
So
I mean,
yeah.
time does fly. I have a 10-year-old
really
and
does.
it goes by quick. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
yeah,
I
especially
can,
with kids.
right? Exactly. So
Yeah.
what were you doing in the military for 15 years?
Well, I was intelligence. So,
Oh.
well, yeah. So I worked a lot with geospatial imagery. So it was a lot of using satellite imagery to find things and people. And that kind of stuff.
Yeah, where you at, bud?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We need to find you.
Yeah.
Uncle Sam's very good at that.
Yeah, which worked out really well because then I was, looking for things, and now I look for hail damage. So
Oh, I didn't think about that. So are you guys taking like aerial shots with drones and stuff like
We are.
that? Interesting. I want to ask a question about that. Over your 15 years of or 14 years in just the industry, how much has that technology helped you guys when it comes to identifying the hail damage? Because you don't have to necessarily get up there 100% no more.
You still do.
Still do?
Yeah. So I don't think the technology is quite there yet.
Not
for
quite.
the drone inspections. I mean, it picks up bird crap as a hail hit. So
Oh.
right. So we're still battling that stuff.
Right.
They might have worked that out in the last year, but we have not tried it out. Since
Okay. So tried and true, still get up there and actually look at it.
That's
I
right.
like that. All right. Intelligence. I'm curious because some crazy stuff is going on in the world nowadays.
Yes.
Yes. Do you still stay plugged into some of those circles of intelligence?
I do. Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
really?
So it's really hard to get out of it. I don't think you ever really get out of it because it's like it kind of pulls you in. So you can get out of the military and you can get out of that environment, but the knowledge and the resources and the people and the connections and all that kind of stuff, they don't go away.
Right.
So you still stay connected with people and you still utilize whatever resources you can to be connected and to feel like you're still in the know about everything.
Yeah.
So it's hard to let that go.
I have been so I've really dove into geopolitics back when Russia decided to make its move in Ukraine. I was like, that's a new world to me. And I found a couple of people online who I start to follow and learn from. And it's like, man, when you go outside the borders of the U.S., it gets way different. It gets way different. And I want people to start seeing that as a perspective, shifting their perspective. We have it really easy here.
We do.
God, we do. And we have what I call like the American blinders on. We don't see anyone else. We think that everyone else lives the same way we do, when that's just not true, you know? And what are some of the places that you've been able to see in that 15-year career?
Oh, gosh. Well, I've been pretty much all over the Middle East. I've been throughout Central and South America. Iceland was my favorite.
Iceland?
I'd go back there in a second. And, of course, bring Kyle and Heritage with me.
Yeah.
But that place is amazing. That's amazing. If you ever get the chance to go, because it's beautiful.
It's on the bucket list.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Wow. It's my favorite place for sure.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Kyle,
Yes.
what about you? How long were you in?
I just did one tour.
One tour?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did it for the experience. I got my act together.
Yeah.
You do a lot of growing up.
Interesting. Can you
And,
expand on that a little bit?
I guess early in life, I didn't know what direction I wanted to go. I was kind of in and out of jobs. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
My buddy talked me into going in the military, and I took him up on the offer, and I didn't look back. And it was a great decision. It really was.
So what branch did you go in?
I was Air Force as well.
Air Force
I was
as well?
National Guard.
International Guard?
Air National.
National Guard. All right. Where did you get to travel as well?
Just for tech school.
Just for tech
Yep.
school? Okay, what was your tech?
So I did comm flight, and then I did vehicle operations. So I went to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri for vehicle operations, and then Keesler, which is Biloxi, Mississippi,
Right.
for the other.
Do you miss it?
A little. Sometimes I do. I miss the camaraderie.
Really?
I do.
Okay.
It's totally different than you get in the civilian world.
Interesting. Did you ever get to see like hot action?
I didn't.
Did not. Interesting. You?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you remember that pretty vividly?
Yeah.
Could you tell somebody who's not a vet, who's never experienced it before, what it's like?
It's kind of like a out of body experience almost. It's like you're on autopilot, so you are aware of what's going on, but it's just like you kind of turn yourself off. Your body knows what it's doing, and you just trust your body to do what it needs to do, and you kind of separate yourself until after. And then afterwards, and you kind of regroup, and you're like, did that just happen? Did we really just, was that real?
Right.
And then you just have to process that for a while. But it's kind of like it's like an out-of-body experience.
Yeah. So you remember the first time that you got to see some things go down, you were just like, do you remember what it was like after the fact, bringing all your thoughts back and just like, what the just happened?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you remember that vividly?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Lord.
Yeah.
I wanted to go in the military. I got in trouble as a youth. I got a couple of permanent Fs on the record, and I wanted to go to Army Officer Candidate School, and I thought I had a friend who was doing that, and I thought that was really awesome. And then they're like, "Oh, well, we don't need you or want you at the moment." I was like, "That's fair." So I did have ambitions of going into the military, kind of like you said. You didn't necessarily have a direction in life. street kid running around doing God knows what
Right.
whenever I wanted to. And I never had that structure. And I'm assuming that structure that you got out of it truly helped you to put you on the path you're on now.
It did.
Yeah? So
Work ethic for sure.
work ethic.
Yep.
They pretty much beat it into you, don't they? Yeah? Good Lord. Just, what was the worst meal in the military you guys have both had? Because I know there's some nasty ones.
Probably the MREs. I
Yeah,
really like those.
I think, the MREs are bad. And then there was one time, oh my gosh. So this wasn't really a military meal, but I counted as one because we were in the military.
Right.
We were deployed. I was with an Army unit. And I actually spent most of my career with the Army, even though I was Air Force. And we were going through this town, and we were in Iraq. And depending on what areas you go through, they're friendly to Americans. They like that we're there. So one of the things that they do is like they're hospitable.
Yeah.
And so they invited us into their home to eat. Well, it's not the same over there as it is over here. So, you know, the way that they prepare food, everything like that's not the same.
Yeah.
And you know, we don't want to refuse because you know
rude.
you're grateful, you know,
Right.
that they have that, you know, thought to us that we're, you know, it's good that we're there.
They could either
So-
feed you or blow you up, one of
Yeah,
the two.
exactly.
So I'm going to take feed me.
Yeah, that was the better option, you know.
Absolutely.
And so we're all sitting on the ground around this big, big bowl, probably as big as this table here, maybe a little bigger. We're all sitting around, and you know, you eat with your hand. So everything's in one bowl, and we're all eating together. And you don't want to be rude, but you also don't want to, you know, put something in your body that it's not used to
Yeah.
having in there.
Was the
And,
food good?
It was all right. It was all right. Yeah.
It was okay.
It was okay.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
yeah. But it was quite the experience because it was after we left there, none of us were really feeling very good. So it kind of impacted the rest of what we were doing at that time.
Yeah.
So that had bad repercussions after the fact. So
By design.
yeah,
By
maybe,
design.
probably.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, it was an experience for sure.
That's the thing that's cool about the military. You get to go do stuff like that. Like it's
Yeah.
it's not all, you know, guns and blowing up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it is like getting to see other culture.
Yeah, there's so much.
Like-
There's so much out there to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish we had more. I wish we did have a lot more culture that we'd bring in. I do. It's like it would be a lot of fun. Mr. Kyle, I have a question. How long have you been married?
9 years.
And she's been supporting you through this entire journey of starting the business. I would love to know what that's like because as I'm in my journey, about 4 years into entrepreneurship, I use that term very loosely. I don't have that type of support. I don't have a girlfriend, a spouse, a wife. I've heard from others that it's one of the most important things that is part of their journey. What about you?
It is. So she worked at Cook Industries as an accountant.
Okay.
She homeschools our kids now,
Wow.
and she is finance officer at the business. So I have her in the business still, which is nice. Yes. So you know, as I figured out what I wanted to do, she supported me the entire way.
Wow.
If I didn't have that support, I don't know that I could have jumped.
Really?
Without her. Yep.
Interesting. What were those?
If she had doubt, I would have had doubt. Then it would have never happened.
So she was like that stability, that rock in that
Right.
in that decision. What were the conversations like back then, man?
A lot simpler than now, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. More or less, you know, are we going to jump or are we not going to jump? It's time or it's not time, you know? Very simple questions, very to the point.
Interesting.
Yep. Probably not like most people.
No, I don't think it is because like through some of the stories I've heard, like, you know, it'll be some wild, tensioned conversations with
didn't have any of
emotions and
that.
high. So you guys, I'm a big fan of the keep it simple, stupid. Are you familiar with KISS theory? Yep.
Yeah.
It's my go-to for everything, and it sounds like that's kind of how you guys. That's what you guys use discussing going into your own business and making that jump.
And I knew that she was going to have to carry the back end type stuff, you know, on the paperwork and stuff like that, and she was fine with that. So
I mean, she's been doing it for Coke,
right.
So she was
and this
like,
was a walk in the park.
yeah. I'm assuming back then, you know, the numbers at Coke much bigger compared to when you guys first starting out and stuff like that. So she's like, oh yeah, nice. This is easy. This is much better.
Yep.
All right. So did you dream of doing this?
Actually, no,
What's
I did
the,
not.
What was the dream?
Fighter pilot when I was a child, probably.
Dude, that hurt, man. I felt that in my chest.
I know. I mean, Top Gun's still a favorite movie. So
Yeah?
Yep.
You seen the new one, obviously?
I have.
Yes, it's very good.
It is.
One of my ambitions in life is to be a pilot.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to do the same thing, be a fighter pilot, but now, like, I've got to fly twice. Once a helicopter, that was cool. That's a whole different thing. And then I got to do, when me and my father moved here, introductory to flight up in Heston.
Okay.
Got to do the pre-check. I got to do flight check, and then taxi out. He had me do the take. The only thing I didn't get to do was land. It was a little bit more complicated than he trusted me with doing. And ever since then, man, like that is one of those ambitions and goals that I have in my life. Like I want to be able to fly. I want to be able to get in my plane and go wherever I want.
And we do have a commercial airline pilot that does work part-time for us currently. 2
Really?
weeks on, 2 weeks off as a salesman. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is he doing in his off time then? With you, is he in reserve pilot or is he military pilot or
No,
is he
he's-
just a pilot?
He's just a pilot. Yep. 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. Goes to Hong Kong, overseas, Asia, comes back for
Why
2
is it-
weeks. Yep.
Why does he work for you?
Because he loves roofs.
So I was taking a shingle to UPS one day.
Okay.
And we were coming out of UPS. I was in my truck, which was wrapped, and he stops me. He has an Infinity roofing shirt on, and he's like, "Hey," and he starts talking to us about roofing, and I'm like, "Well, this is just random,
Yeah.
God probably put him right here for me today," in which I believe he did. We started talking and gave me his number and hit it off really well, and he decided he wanted to come sell roofs for us.
Whoa.
Yep.
And so he's just like, yeah, I'll do that 2 weeks out of the month, and then I'll go fly for 2 weeks out of the month, and then
Well,
just
he said he's made more money roofing than he ever thought about commercial pilot.
Can you break that down for me? What the heck? Am I in the wrong business?
Yeah.
It's
you
a
need to come sell some
it's a
roofs.
very lucrative business.
Really?
It is.
Is it now? Obviously, there's time, there's labor, there's the roof, like the actual material and stuff. So, could you give me a breakdown of like what a single family home, 3-bedroom, nothing crazy. Like what is the process that you went from going to look at to finish? What's that look like for you guys? Say it's a big hail damaged roof too.
Right. So we'll go out there. We'll do our inspection, take our photos, show our homeowners, let them make the informed decision on what they would like to do.
Right.
Obviously, if they need some coaching, we obviously do this every day, so we could do that. So we go down there. We do the inspection. We call in the claim usually with the homeowner because they've never done this before.
Okay, so you'll sit there with them,
We will.
give a call to the insurance. Interesting. All right.
So within 48 hours, insurance should contact that homeowner, set a schedule to come out and inspect that roof. We then meet the adjuster out on site,
Okay.
and we walk around with them and make sure they're in agreement with everything that we saw the
Right.
first time.
Now, so I have my own experience with adjusters and insurance myself. Generally, not like the greatest experience. Do you have relationships with these adjusters that come out, or is it kind of a battle with them as well?
We used to have relationships,
Oh,
but it seems like, when COVID hit is when everything kind of got turned upside down in that industry as well.
really?
It did.
What just people not good people in the industry anymore? Or?
No, it's they just quit paying for things. But to their defense, so everything doubled in price in 2020.
It's expensive.
But they couldn't double their prices to their customers on homeowners insurance. So they're doing everything they can to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
Which the only way they can do that, deny claims.
Uh,
Yeah.
Right.
And we
Dirty
still
little
try and
rats.
maintain those relationships. We still try and have good relationships with the adjusters and everything because, we can help each other out in the process. But, it still ends up being a fight sometimes.
yeah, and because I haven't seen your guys' work, but I can assume that you guys are fighting for that customer, make sure that roof gets done the correct way, and that they're going to pay the correct amount for
Yes.
what needs to be done, not
Yeah.
just it's fine, just replace this piece. You know what I mean? And it doesn't work that way.
No, there's also codes that we have to adhere to. So there's the international residential code,
Okay.
and we have to adhere to that because Kansas says we have to do everything up to code. So we do that. So if it's that includes everything from the roof installation to the flashing that's on there
Yeah.
to gutter install and the decking that's underneath, everything has to be up to code.
Minimum requirements for us to touch.
Yeah.
Really? So there's a lot to, like, because with codes and stuff, you said you got your general contractor's license. What does it take to get that? Do you have to memorize a lot of those codes? Is it something you have
There's
to learn, or
there's
how's
a
it
book
work
about
out?
the International Residential Codes about the size of the Bible.
Oh, joy!
It's the construction Bible.
It is.
Construction Bible.
And so I ended up I went to Salina to take my GC test.
Okay.
So they ask you random questions out of that book.
All right.
But it is open book,
Okay.
which isn't too bad, but they do have a time limit on it, which I can't remember what that time limit is now, but it's so long ago. But
Are they looking for you just to have the ability to look up the code, not necessarily memorize it or know it by heart, but have the ability and like competency to look it up and know the answer?
yes.
Yeah. All right. So what training do you have to go through to do that? Is there any training?
There was a class in Derby that I did take to do that. This gentleman, he was I don't know if he still is. His name's Dale. He was a city inspector for the city of Derby.
Shout out,
And
Dale.
so, right. And so once a month he puts on a class at the Derby Fire Department.
Oh, that's cool. And just help people. Like, does he charge for it, or is he just doing it to
He
help?
does charge.
Okay. All right. Well, sometimes, it's nice to find people who just want to help. But, we all got to eat. It is what it is. Coming up on about 14 years, what's in the future for Heritage? What do you want to pull off? What do you want to do? What do you want to see? What do you want to build?
We launched our commercial line this year.
Okay.
So we're getting into commercial roofing.
What's the difference for someone who's not a roofer?
Flat roofs versus pitched roofs.
Okay. I mean, that's about as simple as it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you not see pitched roofs on businesses? Is there a
Oh,
similar-
you do, but we're when I say commercial, I mean shingle's a shingle,
There.
So commercial roofing is different product altogether.
Right.
So
Isn't that a lot of the hot tar sticky stuff that I've seen on people doing online? Like they'll make videos of it, them retarring a roof or any of that stuff. Is that the same? Is that
so we
similar?
don't really retar. We do, TPO, which is the white stuff that you see on there. It's a rubberized system.
I think so.
Yep. So we do that, and we do rolled roofing as well. So
Honestly, so I've done some manual labor in my life. Roofing is one I absolutely missed. I did not want to do it.
Yeah.
I had some friends who did it. It's hot. It's
tough.
hard work,
It's
man.
hard work.
It is out. And then some of those pitches, they're scary. You stand on I don't know, I've heard people say like a 12-12 and it's like straight down type thing. And it's like, how do you stay safe on a roof?
Well, you got to tie yourself off sometimes.
Okay.
So
Gotta have the right shoes.
Right shoes.
Yep.
Yeah.
that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So do you ever get bothered by OSHA? Because I've gone through
Never.
OSHA training for 40.
Never
40
have.
Really?
They do come to town when storms hit, and there's always rumors of them around, but I've never seen them.
Interesting. I've only ran into them once. Everyone stopped working for the rest of the day. It was over.
That's how that works.
That's how everyone's, we're just sitting here waiting for something, not doing anything, don't have a permit, waiting for permit. Don't know what to tell you. And so, yeah, that's interesting. Commercial line, what's it take for you to open that? Is it just you getting knowledge? What knowledge?
Knowledge of the commercial roofing way of things. It's a lot more retail driven than insurance driven.
Interesting.
Because a lot of those deductibles are extremely high deductibles. And so most roofs don't meet the deductible a lot of times. So then you're given retail bids.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. So, I'm trying to figure out, are those more lucrative for you?
The margins are smaller, but the numbers are bigger.
Okay.
That makes sense.
It does make sense. There's a lot more involved into it. The things I'm guessing are more expensive than the materials compared to...
The labor, the materials, everything's more expensive.
Why?
I don't make
He's like, I don't make those prices, man. It's not me. I don't do that. I didn't do it, I promise. So going through COVID, I do remember lumber got wild. Were you guys still pretty busy through COVID, or what happened there?
Oh, well, that was probably the busiest time that I've had in business.
Really?
Because everybody went home, and everybody had all that money, and they were just sitting around. It was burning a hole in their pocket, so everybody decided to get house renovations.
Man, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, do we stick with only roofs?
No, we do siding, windows, doors. We do concrete, anything, pretty much exterior, we can do it.
All exterior, all exterior. Interesting. And then how are you marketing all this? Because that's your job.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of do a little bit of everything. I go out and I do bids as well.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, yeah. I meet customers and all that stuff too. As far as marketing goes, I think it really depends on what time of year it is. Like now with storm season coming, a lot of it is the roofs because we're
Right.
trying to make sure everybody is aware of potential issues that could come up before storm season is really, really here, which is right now. So a lot of it is, getting on the roofs and scheduling those appointments and making people aware that this is something you need to look at before it's an issue,
Yeah.
before it becomes a problem. And then when storm season comes, obviously, and there's hail, that's a whole different marketing campaign because it's like now that there is hail that went through the area, we need to come and make sure it didn't damage your roof and you're not going to have leaking.
Yeah.
Because if it gets to the point where you notice it, it's too late. So we want to try and figure it out and make sure we can see everything before it becomes a problem.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
because then if we have interior damage and all this other stuff, and you got water in your house and everything, that's a whole nother ball game. Nobody wants to play. So we're trying to, get out there and make sure we can protect everybody before that happens.
Comes down to educating them.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, everyone lives in a home. Everyone has a roof. Well,
Yeah.
A lot of people live in homes. A lot of people have roofs. And, we don't look at them. I can't tell you the last time I looked at my roof.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
would I? Why? I have
Yeah.
no reason going up there. There's nothing in the attic. There's no water on the ground.
Yep.
What are some things, like, should someone come in and take a look at their roof every year, once a year, to at least give it a quick overlook? And what should they look for if they're doing that?
Yeah, definitely once a year at least is good. I think most homeowners, if they're going to get on their roof, it only happens around the holidays and they're putting up Christmas lights or something like that, or if they notice an issue and by then, like I said before, it's too late. So,
Yeah.
but definitely once a year is good.
For sure.
So, and homeowners can look at that their property is different than what we can. If they look around and, especially with the wind that we have here in Kansas, if they're walking around their house and they notice something that should be on the roof is now on the ground, that's a good time to give us a call because it's not supposed to be there. So
That
there are things
wasn't-
you can notice. Yeah.
That was not
Yep.
supposed to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And that actually happens pretty frequently when we get on a roof and there's shingles that are blown off. That happens without storm season. That's just because Kansas is really windy.
It is.
So if your roof is really old, that's the wind does damage to that as well without even the hail and everything else with it.
Yeah.
So
Man, I didn't really think a whole lot about roofing. It's just, it doesn't seem like something you think about every day. You really don't. And then till it's a problem. And
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing is like, oh, now I got to deal with it. And who do I trust? How do you set yourself apart from the others around to make sure that your customers truly trust you in the work that you have doing? I'm going to give that one to you.
For me.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to make you answer that one.
So I invested in a catch-all system for my company, which is a net system that goes around the house to protect landscaping. Not a
Okay.
lot of people have that yet. There are a few companies here in town that do, but people really like how we protect their landscape and their property.
Right.
Yeah, so that's very important because it doesn't matter how good of a job you do. If you leave and somebody's flower bed is smashed,
Oh, boy.
they don't remember how good the roof is. They just remember what kind of condition you left their house.
So what is this system? How do you set it? What's it?
Well,
exactly do?
so it's on poles. Well, actually, it's 50 foot long. Our net's 50 foot long and about 10 foot high, and they have little
Wow.
key rings on them. And then so we have these long poles that go in and out, and then we attach those to the netting system, and we can set that netting system up all the way around the house. And then we have
Whoa.
ground nets that actually go beneath those nets. So anything that falls off those nets goes into our ground nets, and then we can throw that in the trailer.
I would actually like to see one of these set up because I'm assuming it's kind of pretty cool because you see it over all of your shrubbery, your gardening, and then like it's protecting all of the siding.
Right.
Yeah, that's actually
Right.
that I didn't know that was a thing.
yeah, we've got lots of pictures we can show you.
Oh yeah,
It's pretty
show me.
nice. I think everything comes down to us just caring more. I
Right.
think is what it is. I mean, the way that Kyle set this company up is so great because he put his values and what he thinks is important into the company and made them the company values. So everybody that he's brought on, like that's what made it so easy for me to jump on board was because my values are the same.
Yeah.
So, and all of that, we just push it out to the customers and to everybody else. And it's just how we do business because it's how we are as people.
Yes.
So Kyle set the foundation so easy for us to be able to do it because it's just who we are
Yeah.
and it's who the company is. So for us to go out and really care about that customer, like we'll go out and give all this information and we'll help them through everything, but we want them to make whatever decision is best for them.
Yeah.
It's not always a full roof replacement. It's not always going through your insurance. It depends on what's actually best for that customer. And so the catch-all system and everything that we provide to them, all the information we provide, and how we walk through the insurance steps with them and hold their hand the whole way through is just because we really care.
Yeah.
And we just want it to be the best experience for them.
You're investing into that customer, that client.
Yeah, for sure.
What the heck? That's cool.
Makes cleanup easy too.
So it looks like it's like a ramp that comes down just to make sure like it's just like it's gonna bounce off, maybe go into the yard, in the parking lot, street, something like that.
Right. So we set that up like that to protect the windows, or if they have siding.
Wow, I've never seen anyone else do that. Actually, that's something I've never seen. Like you see people on roofs during this time of year.
Yeah.
You don't see nets around people's houses.
Yeah.
It's the little things now that sets you apart.
Yeah.
I don't think that's little. I think that's a big thing because you're truly protecting the things that they have invested in.
Right.
They like their garden. They spend time on it every day. They like their paint. They like their mulch. They like whatever it is that they've done to their home. Why would you want to destroy that? To protect it for them is like going that extra mile. That's awesome. That's amazing.
It makes it nice for cleanup too, because it'll catch those nails, those stray nails and everything too that come off of the roof when we're doing installation and everything else. And then we also have it's a big magnet that sweeps through, that we sweep through the yard to make sure that we can pick everything up. So there's no staples and nails and everything in the yard for that customer, the dog and the kids that's running around the yard. They don't have to worry about dealing with any of that after the fact.
Man, that's a great feature that you guys are doing. I'd keep that up. Keep that going. I think that's cool. I want to know, what was the first year of Heritage like?
The first year?
Oh, yeah. Was it rough? Was it easy? Some people have had their first years easy. My first couple have been not easy.
I'd say the first 2 or 3 was pretty rough.
Yeah?
Well, storm season, it's seasonal, so you make all your money at one time, and then during the winter, it's a long winter.
What do I do now?
Right, you go into depression mode until you start work again in the spring.
Someone call me!
So it's pretty tough on guys in this industry, having all that time off,
right,
and trying to get back in the game.
What do you do? How do you keep your mindset in that? How do you you just gear up, get ready, try to save the money?
Well, you have to. You have to be really good with money, which is hard for a lot of people. So.
Yeah. That's the wife's portion of work, right?
So
the money.
I wasn't very good with money for a long time, but I'm pretty good now.
Yeah. You have to learn. Right. You have to learn, or else you're going to keep making the same mistakes. And you're going to fail unless you learn from it. What were do you remember some of the things were oops, I should not have either spent that or bought that?
I don't think there's been any of those.
No.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Just that time frame of
just
all right, we got that, we got everything done. Now what do we do? That's
right, because you don't know when you're going to start working again. You don't know when the next storm's going to hit, and so if you're chasing storms all around, it gets pretty hairy.
Yeah. When did you start bringing on different services to supplement that, to help that?
So I started with the roofing when I got into roofing.
Really?
So it was strictly I started off as just seamless guttering.
Seamless guttering, okay.
Fascia repairs, little stuff like that, And then we got into the roofing game in 2018, and then after that, it was everything else.
So, so the gutters were really the portion that were kind of that thing that got you there going through the first couple of years.
So I was a subcontractor, I've been in sales, and now management. So I've kind of done all of it.
Right. And it's just that experience that you built over time.
Right.
So, through the journey, through the deal, because before you guys started doing, was it always Heritage, or was it
always Heritage?
It's always been Heritage.
Always.
Did you change it from Heritage
seamless guttering to Heritage roofing?
There it is. I was wondering if that was it,
but it's always been Heritage.
Okay, where'd the name come from?
Man, we wanted something that was represented a long-lasting, will always be there kind of a name, and so. I think it was my father that helped us choose a name, because when we were starting out, we didn't care. We just wanted to make money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, So we got counsel from other people on the name. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Names are sometimes tough to come up with.
They are.
The good thing is you can always change it. It's not hard to change.
I did think about rebranding, but I didn't end up doing it.
No?
No.
You got probably too much invested into the name, don't you? Your truck's wrapped. Or do you have more than one fleet vehicle, I'm assuming?
We do. We have,
Are
we
they
have
all?
two trucks and a van right now.
Are they all just
They're all
decked out?
wrapped. Uh-huh.
Yeah. See, you got to get that redone, have someone redo the whole design of it. Nah, just keep the name. It's good.
Right.
From time to time, like adjust the logo, different color or shape or something like that. Those subtle things. That's what I'm a big fan of those. Yep. I am definitely a big fan of those. All right. Through all of this, to both of you, how important has networking been during this journey?
I'll let her answer that because she's done a lot more networking than I have.
That's fair. That's how you and I met at a BNI meeting,
Yeah.
Air Capital Elites.
Yep.
I actually just signed up this weekend
Yep.
to become your guys' newest member to try to get charted.
Yep. And we're so excited.
Yes.
We're so excited about it. I think networking is so important, especially in Wichita.
Okay.
So I've lived all over the United States, and I've never seen an area quite like Wichita. Wichita is huge in supporting local business.
Yes.
They're
I've
huge in
this.
it, and it's more than any other place I've ever seen. And that's amazing because you have so many startups here and so many opportunities and so many small businesses around here because everybody supports everybody, but nobody knows about you if you don't tell anybody. So networking is so important because if you start talking with people and explain to them who you are and what you do and they use you and then they have a good experience and they go tell somebody else who tells somebody else who tells somebody else, and it's just, I mean, that's how you get business.
Yeah.
So networking for us, like I got started in BNI, we started chartering or trying to charter this chapter for, oh my gosh, it's been almost a year.
Oh my.
That I've been working. Yeah, almost a year that I've been doing it. And it's provided so many more opportunities to meet some amazing people and do some pretty awesome things like this, like a podcast. I never would have done this before if I hadn't met you through BNI.
True.
So it's just opportunities like that are so amazing. And that's how we've gotten some of the opportunities that we've had as a company is through the networking. So being able to talk to people and just, people know when you're authentic and they know when you're passionate about what you do.
Absolutely.
And I mean, everyone that works with Kyle in Heritage we're all passionate about what we do, and we're all striving to grow the company and, really push our company out there to say, this is what we do.
Absolutely.
And we're really trying to help and we really want to do this. And we've gotten so much opportunity from it. Mm-hmm. And it's been awesome. It's
been powerful.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. And networking's that's been a lot of what I've been doing over the last year.
Yeah. What other sources of networking do you? Because there's BNI here. Mm-hmm. There's a few other. There's Chamber. There's WEBA. Yeah. I just got introduced to WEBA. Went to a WEBA luncheon the other day. Yep. Big fan. Big fan.
Yeah, there's tons around here. There's all the chambers. There's WABA for all the builders.
WABA, I forgot about WABA.
Yeah, WABA, WEBA. There's a million cups.
That should be a song.
That happens. Yeah,
WABA, WEBA.
It should be. Yeah. You need the Muppets in the background.
Yes, that'd be great.
Yeah. But there's a whole bunch. There's ones that are specific to veterans. There's
really?
veteran networking groups as well. There's industry-specific networking groups. There's 316 networking. There's a lot of different companies that will host networking events for their company.
Yes.
A lot of real estate agencies do that in different bars and restaurants around Wichita. So they'll put that out a lot of times, and I try and jump into all those as I can. Like, oh, a happy hour over here. I'm like, I'm going over there.
Well, then you will absolutely be invited to Networking with Nick's first in-person mixer soon.
Oh, awesome.
I will be doing it here at the Colony. I will be having my first in-person event, and I am excited.
That's exciting.
I cannot wait.
That's cool.
1 million cups. Are you familiar, right?
Yep.
All right. Have you been up on stage?
No.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. I love being up on stage, people watching me. I don't know. It's a dopamine hit.
Yeah.
If I'm on it, that's what this is. That's all this is. It's more than that, obviously, but this is my dopamine. I get to sit here, learn from you, talk to you, have this awesome interaction, and just sit here and
listen
and talk. It's just
That's how roofing is for us. Signing deals, that's a dopamine hit. It's
not
even about the money. Yeah. It's about
you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got that thing done. We got the signature, whatever it is. We did it. You feel accomplished.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you remember your first big one? Big one.
Yes, I do.
Can you give me the lowdown? Can you give me the story?
We actually, our biggest one we just did. We just finished it end of last week.
Okay. What was it? What was the whole shebang?
So we got the Anthony Christian Church,
Okay.
which that was a really big job, and we're very grateful for that job.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, where is this? Where's this
Anthony,
Church?
Kansas?
Oh, it's not even here.
No,
Mm-mm.
no,
So you guys will travel.
we do.
Yeah.
How far do you guys go out of Wichita? You go to Oklahoma, Nebraska?
We do. So I'm licensed in Oklahoma too.
Okay.
So we'll work northern Oklahoma.
Is that a big deal having to be licensed to go do it?
Yes, you do have to
So-
be licensed.
You couldn't just manage in getting someone like that was licensed in a different state. So say if you went Florida, right? Just whatever. Hey, I am not technically licensed here, but I can manage and operate the job for people who are licensed and oversee it. Is that something you could do?
Quite possibly.
Yeah. Probably not the most efficient way to
Probably
do it
not,
though.
no.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think it comes down to like ethics too.
Oh.
Like, just want to make sure that you're, legally. So you have to pull permits and everything. There's a lot that goes
Really?
into a roofing job. It's so much more than just finding a crew that'll go up there and do it. It's so involved. So
You
you,
actually
have to
have to
pull
pull-
permits. Oh yeah, yeah. So you have to,
Not in
you know,
Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Wait, you don't have to pull them in Oklahoma. So state regulations. You
Yeah.
can see the difference there.
yeah. All the states are different.
Of course
Yeah.
they are.
Yep. Yeah. So there's like, you have to be aware of everything that you have to do legally
Yes.
to make sure that you're doing the right thing. So,
But
So-
they don't want a lot of riffraff in there.
That you know what that makes a lot of sense. It is a job that needs to be done correctly, because it can hurt people. It is a dangerous job. You can fall off of a roof. I don't care how far up you are. 10 feet will kill you. If you land on your head, you will die. So you know what I mean. Like there is those type of risks, and it is dangerous. So it does need to be done correctly by professionals who understand and know the ways of the game. Absolutely, man. Roofing, I'd fall. Which is weird, because I actually used to climb cell phone towers.
Really?
Yeah, I've been 550 feet up on a cell phone tower chinging a light bulb. You
That'd be an
can
adrenaline rush.
that is yes. So I actually after that day I stopped. We were in Lubbock, Texas, just outside of Lubbock, Texas. I was on top, and we were watching some storms, some afternoon storms. They were just rolling by. One hooked south, came on down. I was top of that. I was partway down, like I wasn't all the way at the top, but wind wall came kicking in, and guide towers, the ones with the wires coming off, they are not bolted 100% secured to the ground. It's loose. It's supposed to move. That's actually how it's designed. It's supposed to sway. So when you're at the top of that thing, you'll sway back and forth 10, 15 feet,
oh, that sounds scary.
being 400 feet above the ground. And just,
Thinking this is it.
Yep.
Yeah, this
So
is how it go.
the rain started, and I was carrying a rope. You have to carry line up, and 400, 500 feet of line gets kind of heavy.
Yeah.
Then it gets wet.
Oh gosh.
So I actually could not. I had to latch myself in with all of my connections, and I could not hold it anymore. So I told them to clear out. I got to cut line because it's heavy. You got 60 pounds of gear on you. Your rig, tools. No. So I snapped that thing, and I've never seen rope fall from 400 feet. It explodes once the end hits and all the kinetic energy.
Really?
Boom! It'll blow up the end of the rope. So
Oh
you
my
have
gosh.
you have to go down a couple of feet from where it exploded to make sure it's still safe. Cut it there and then reseal the rope. That was a cool experience. But yeah, after getting caught in that, I didn't get the full fledge of the thunderstorm, but I caught the edge of it. Nope, no more.
Yeah, that would be scary.
Nope, I'm done. Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah.
I remember just swaying back and forth. Good Lord. As we come to a wrap up of part 1 for you guys, because there's no way that I'm not going to have you come back in and do it again. There's no way. I have a question for the both of you. Start with you first. You wake up in the morning. It's a normal day. You're getting ready, kiss the wife goodbye, the kids. You go to leave the house, but this time you run into 18-year-old self. You're able to lock eyes. You have a moment to give him some advice. You cannot tell him all the secrets. What do you tell that 18-year-old self?
Get into sales.
Get into sales? What the?
Doesn't matter. I don't care what line of sales, car sales, roofing sales. anything.
Really? Why?
It builds your character. It helps you communicate with people, and it's one of those jobs that you can make a lot of money in sales.
You know, and do you ever feel like whenever you're doing sales stuff, you feel like a scummy used car salesman? Because a lot of people, when they say get into sales, that's like immediately what they go to.
No, because I don't go about it a sleazy way, I guess.
Right.
So I've never really felt like that.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Because I mean,
I'm genuinely there to help people. And once I make them realize that I'm helping them, everything goes smooth.
get into sales. Yep. That is definitely a first. What about you, Miss Katie?
Oh man, I'm glad he went first so I could think about it. I think mine would just be to keep going. To just keep going, because there's so many times, especially, you know, like you go through so much in life that makes you want to either stop or pause, change direction, all this stuff, and it makes you stop and think, like, am I really doing the right thing? Do I really want to keep doing this? And I think mine would just be to just keep going, and just know that everything's going to work out, and the right people are going to come along, and you're going to have the right opportunities, and you just gotta do it. Just jump. Keep going.
You just gotta keep going.
Just keep going.
Motivation will get the goal started. Mm-hmm. Consistency will finish the job. Mm-hmm. And that's all there is to it. I tell friends that are like, oh, what are you doing nowadays? It looks, you know, like you're having a good time. Like, are you successful? Stuff like that. So, not yet. No, I am not successful yet. Working on it. It's the concept is simple, but simple and easy are parallel. They will never intersect. It is always something difficult to do, but it's always a simple process. It's just not easy to pull off. Right. And with that, that's another episode of Networking with Nick, episode 21? That's what I'm going with. I think it's episode 21 at the moment. Thank you guys for both being here. Katie, Kyle, I wanted to call you Chris for some reason. I don't know where
that's my brother's name.
Is it?
Yeah.
So I think I keep wanting to go with, like, Chris Kyle. I don't know, like...
Like the shooter?
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know where my mind's going with that. But earlier I was like, it's Kyle, Nick. It's Kyle. Kyle, Katie with Heritage Roofing and Exteriors. I am so excited to have you guys here. Thank you for coming in for an episode. This has been an amazing conversation. I'm excited to see what comes next from Heritage.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Yeah. Get out there, shake hands, meet people. It's good for your health and life, I promise.